That's three. Cigar. Can I have a go down. Let's press it up on there.
Did they come? I think so.
Well, they're here now.
They've never met anybody.
Are we lining them up or are they lining us up?
I know.
He is the beat facilitator for this area. Wait, Sonny. Just real quick, Kim, you want to tell us the importance of having a police roll call here tonight?
Oh, are you kidding? This means so much to the community to see the support of their neighbors to come out to support the police officers, but also their visibility on the street means everything in terms of keeping the riffraff out of the way, keeping them off the streets, keeping them out of our area.
So this will definitely help you guys.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. We wish we could have it every day, but we know they have to patrol all the areas in 24. So.
And when are your CAPS meetings?
We meet the first Wednesday of every month at the Edgewater Library on Elmdale and Broadway, and we're beat 2433. This is the south end of our beat. We go all the way to Devon, from the lakefront to Ravenswood.
Great, Jill Marie, the beat facilitator, 2433. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Second line. Give your name and your beat number. Starting now. Officer Allen, 2062. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Very loud.
2 Adam.
Officer Branning is 2462 Boyd. Officer Manos, 2462 Adam.
Officer Hawaii, 2069 David.
Officer Gordon, 2622 David. Even 2472. Tappy, 43 Sam, 24. Linux, 2411. 2457.
2457.
Jeweler, 2443. Serrano, 2406 Henry. Neil, 2406 down. Agron, 2436. Barrel, 2458. Hey, front row. One step forward. Move. Front row at ease. The beginning of the second line. Name and greet.
Officer Walensky, 2062 Eddie.
Officer Torres, 2062 Boyd. Officer Perez, 2062 Boyd. Officer Bright, 2462 Eddie. Officer Grillo, 2462 Boyd. Hersh, 2062 Boyd. Officer Hine, 2462 Eddie. Officer Cannon, 2069 David. Officer Keller, 2453. Officer Doherty, 2453.
David, 2447.
Store, 2447. Daniels, 2405. Cannon, 2446. Rika, 2446. Avery, 2492.
Megan Sawyer, 2441.
Lewinsky, 2492.
Race, Proudly, 2485.
Flag, 2441.
They gotta help us. We go over that to Iraq. We go Hey, you licked my leg and I got you.
Walk in front of us.
You're so beautiful.
Thank all these citizens for being here to support you. Because, that applause that you heard when you walked up here was from the heart. They really appreciate you being up here and the job you do. So thank you to say anything or anything like that. But, you know, this being a border, you know, we really have no borders anymore. And I know how many guys from 24 and how many women from 24 go and help people from 20 and vice versa. So, you know, it doesn't matter. There's no borders. You know, we're all blue inside. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. So, you've helped considerably calm down this neighborhood. I mean, you know, I don't know if any of you, and I don't think any of you were here in the early 70s like Lieutenant Fitzsimmons and Captain Wick and I were. This really wasn't too cool of a place back then, you know. And into the 70s and into the early 80s, it was terrible. And, you know, now, you know, it's not Glencoe yet, but you know what? A lot of people prefer to live down here by the lakefront than Glencoe or something like that. So, and it's because of your efforts. This is a decent place to live again. Never forget that, you know, what you do counts. It's important. So, I appreciate it. These people appreciate it. And thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
All right, before we leave, once again, we ask that some of the tactical units stay in the area here. Stop and talk to some of the citizens. 2433. We want you to put yourself down here on a CAPS mission. And also we ask that the officers from the SAC team stay within the confines of 2433 for the next hour. Talk to some of these people. One of the things you should remember about this particular beat, this area right here is the most congested housing in the city of Chicago. There are more people that live in these small blocks than live in any other part of the city. This is the most densely populated part of the city, so it's likely to be the most densely populated area in the entire Midwest. So the people are out here to support you. We've done some missions here over the last 3 or 4 years. I've got to know some of these people, and they really are behind you. You don't see them a lot because they're inside, because of the dense population, but they are behind you. That's it. Everybody dismissed.
How we doing?
Good, how you doing? How are you doing?
We're tired. So.
I bet you're tired. Thanks for coming out.
It's like deja vu all over again. Last time I was here, I was a sergeant. You know, I'm a commander. Yeah.
See what happens if we sit out long enough?
Yeah, well, I guess this block's a lucky charm for me, you know?
That must be it.
Yeah.
So how are things going?
Things are going great. Things are going excellent.
You're different than you can. Yeah, they don't like crowds.
Yeah, I'm coming home again. I mean, I spent 19 of my 33 years here. I grew up in 61 in Rockwell.
Oh, great.
You know, that was the day when you got married and left home. That was it, you know. So it was the only house I ever knew. But,
so you have a vested interest in us. We like that.
Well, yeah. Vested interest in like 5.2 square miles of, heaven here. So, yeah. With 151,000 people.
Yeah. There are a lot of us, that's for sure.
You guys all lived here one time?
Yeah, I grew up in East Rogers Park, and my husband and I have been here 25 years.
Oh, have you really? Terrific. Yeah, it's still a terrific. My dad sold our house. My mom died in '74. He sold the house in '76 for $75,000 cash. some Greek guy offered me $75,000. I mean, there's a lot of money there.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what one of these things would go for.
We hope a lot.
Yeah, well,
More than we can imagine.
yeah, most of us can afford to buy our own things today. Yeah. So.
Well, when we bought our house 25 years ago, we paid, I think, $60,000
Did
for
you?
this house.
Did you? Yeah. Boy, oh boy. I'll tell you, the part of my district, north of Tui and west of California, some of those houses there, they're going for $4,000 or $5,000. And a lot of these young Orthodox Jewish kids are buying it. Mm-hmm. They're 27 years old and they've got 3 kids already. And I don't know where they're coming up with the money for these things.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
The cost of housing has gotten wild.
Oh yeah. In fact, a friend of mine, one of our sergeants here, was just down in Florida. He bought a place down there between Naples and Fort Myers, which I guess is the West Coast. Mm-hmm. I'm not real familiar with Florida. But down there, not only did he pay what the guy was asking, but he gave him $1,000 more. Down there, they don't come down. It's just, the market up there.
But they were doing that up here, too, for a while there.
Yeah.
Everybody was paying a little bit more.
Yeah, sure.
And there were little wars,
Sure,
somebody,
sure.
2 or 3 people interested in the same property.
Sure, exactly.
Start bidding on it. Yeah, I think that's kind of calmed down now, though.
Yeah, I think it has, too. Yeah.
What I think
somebody said over there, a house on Maplewood sold for like $1,000 more than they were.
Really?
So there might have been a little bidding more there.
The second one in from the corner?
Yeah.
What I find exciting is that so many, it seems like every house that sells, people are really putting a lot into them. We're seeing a lot of houses turn over and just all good things happening to them. So
No, that's terrific.
Great to see.
That's terrific. Yeah, this is a great neighborhood.
My only campaign is that I'd love to see tighter ordinances for cleaning up along Devon, along the business districts, morning and night.
We were just talking about that today.
I'm sure there are a few people mentioning that.
Yeah, we were just talking to a group of Muslim guys who came in, and all nice fellas, And it seems all doing very well. They're talking about $15 million projects they're involved in and stuff like that. And, our pitch to them was, none of you guys ever come to CAPS meetings, and you get beat up at all these meetings about the cleanliness of Devon. It's exactly what we told them. And you don't have any advocate there. I mean, you don't have anyone to say, well, this is what we're going to do, or this is... Because some of them do hire people to clean, but they only clean in front of their own stores, and, like I say, having grown up on Devon, I remember the way it was, and fortunately, I mean, Devon could have gone the way of, like, some of the other streets in the city that, when the Jewish people all moved out, they could have been empty storefronts. So it's good that there's money being invested in Devon, but, the cleanliness has always been an issue, and it's something that, that people are always working on over there. So, but I agree with you, I agree with you. Yeah, not too many of those stores left from when I grew up.
No, that's for sure.
In fact, interestingly enough, and I mean, I was 1 year old and moved in 1949, but I remember in the 50s, the ball that's at Thillins now. Does anybody remember where that was originally? Where was it?
Boys World.
No, I said the ball that's at Thillins.
Oh, no, that I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say you're a little too young. See, remember that.
Boys World.
There we go. Sonny remembers. It was at Boys World. It was at Maplewood and Devon on the, the northeast corner. Yeah. There was a store called Boys World, and it was actually a globe that was on top of it. And Mel Fillins bought it, and they had a parade going down Devon Avenue. They actually had a parade. My dad took me to this parade with this huge ball, and then they painted it, and put it up there. A little known trivia. I mean, there used to be a theater right on Devon. The Sonny Theater was there. It was a wonderful neighborhood.
Yeah, my mom did most of our shopping on Devon, all the good children's
stores. Sure. Crawford's was there, Boys World, a lot of cool stuff. Kenmac Records, that's where we bought all our records.
And the original Lincoln Village with Weebolts and Winston.
Right, well, Lincoln Village was actually the first shopping center in Chicago.
Well, my uncle, who was a policeman, he was an assistant deputy superintendent before he died.
Really?
And he was undercover. And dressed as Santa Claus in the mall at Lincoln Village, and Mom took us to see him, and of course we didn't know it was Jim, and he was saying all this stuff to us that, you know, we really left there thinking, whoa, he really does see you when you're sleeping and know when you're awake, because he was drilling us on all these things that had happened at home, and we thought, man, we really better clean up our act.
What was his name?
Jim Riley.
Jim Riley.
Yeah.
Don't remember.
But it was so funny because he would, you know, talk to us in depth about things we had been getting into, and we just thought, oh boy, we're in big trouble now.
It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is terrific.
So the streets have been pretty quiet, crime-wise, huh?
Yeah, they have been. Yeah, actually they have been. You know, I mean, you know, we're never going to get rid of all the crime. You know, it's not realistic, you know. But, you know, you do the best you can to minimize it, to really attack kind of the quality of life issues, because not every issue is a crime issue. You know, we have a lot more quality, especially on this end of the district, really west of Western Avenue. There are a lot more quality of life issues than there are real crime issues. You know, kids hanging on the corners, you know, that type of activity. And that's probably one of the toughest things that we have to deal with, are those things that aren't in themselves actually illegal, but people don't want to accept, you know.
Or they get intimidated by a crowd on the corner.
Yeah, and actually, you know, you have what you call symbolic assailants, which are usually young teenagers, whether they're white, black, Hispanic, or whatever, and they could all be honor students for all we know, you know. But it's intimidating people to see 15 or 20 of them standing on a street corner. You know, usually walk on the other side of the street, and then they call the police, and, you know, we'll do something about it. Well, you know, if we were down in a third world country, we'd throw them in a van and you'd never see them again, but we don't do things like that here, you know. So, you know, that's kind of the challenge that we have, kind of tempering that, you know. We do move these groups and stuff, but if anyone ever took us to court on it, theoretically we're not supposed to, you know, so. But it's been like that forever, and it probably will be forever, you know. But, you know, kids today are just, you know, a lot bolder. They're exposed to a lot more, obviously. I'm sure a lot of you are parents, and, you know, and it's reflective of the police officers that we're getting on the police department. I mean, most of us came out of the military. You know, they said to jump, we'd say how high. You know, the day you tell these young policemen to jump, they ask you why. You know, it's a whole different ballgame. You have to manage them, you know, a lot differently. But now we're starting to see a lot of kids coming out of the military again, you know, out of Iraq and stuff like that. In fact, we just had a street roll call over at Thorndale and Winthrop, and we had about 45, 50 policemen standing there. And you can almost call the military guys, because, you know, they stand with their thumbs at the scenes, and, you know, they know how to stand at attention, you know. And the other guys are just kind of standing there like this, you know, so. But it's good. It's fun. It's fun, you know. I mean, my mandate is, you know, I mean, our first obligation is to make sure these kids get home at the end of their tour of duty. That's the most important thing. Everything else falls into place. But, you know, we're doing a lot of different things today, technology-wise, deployment-wise. You know, we're putting our people where the actual crime is, rather than just letting them run around on wherever they want to go and stuff like that. So we're policing a lot smarter today, you know. I mean, when I was a young policeman, when Sergeant Clark was a young policeman, we would, you know, basically they give us the keys and we'd handle our jobs, and wherever we wanted to go, we would go. We didn't have to stay in one area or anything like that. And today we know by our technology where the crime is, and we know where we can anticipate crime is going to be, especially shootings, you know, gang conflicts and stuff like that. We meet every week at either 4 or 5 o'clock down at 3510 South Michigan. The whole command staff of the police department meets, and we project where next week's conflicts may be, and that's where we put the bulk of our manpower in every area of the city. Our area, we've had it for probably almost the last year, has been really between Ridge to the Lakefront, from Howard Street to Morris Avenue. We call that a level 2 area because the threat of gang conflicts, of shootings, exists over there. And they do that by gathering intelligence during the week, by looking at reports and so on and so forth. As a commander, I like having it up there because I get extra resources. I get gang teams, I get saturation teams. You know, I get about 30 or 40 more policemen in this district by virtue of that. Now, something may happen over at the Lathrop homes over the 19th district, and I'll take that away from us and give it to them, you know, so it's constant. So you become a victim of your own success in some senses, you know. But, you know, like I say, you know, I enjoy this. I enjoy doing this. You know, I mean, I never thought I'd make sergeant. I figured I'd wind up when I made captain last August. I was working midnights over in Addison and Halstead. And, you know, I could finally get parking for my friends for Cubs games, you know. And, just give me a call. You know. I mean, my daughter, my knucklehead 23 daughter, it's not unlike common for her to, like, call me like an hour before the game. Dad, can you get me parking by the station over there? You know, so why don't you call me after the game? You know. So. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun what we do. You know. So there's a lot of good people out here. There really are. So, anyways, well, you ready, Serge?
I think it's the night we called it a day.
I think so. Yeah, it's been a long day. Folks, thanks for coming out. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for coming by.
Take care.
Information about the neighborhood, personal safety Hi, sweetheart. Wait.
Come on, Bill. We're supposed to come up with something.
Our police dog.
Cass is up at Door County.
Was here.
Well, like I said, it's not raining that we're playing Ohio. She said February when I think about this.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about that, right? So, it is great.
How are you, Sonny?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I used to go up there.
We are at the 6600 block of Clark Street in Chicago, actually the 6500 block. And I'm here with the Cesar Iscardo.
That's correct.
And you are the head of the, it's called the Hispanic Cap Speed, or?
Yeah, I'm Spanish beef facilitator for the 24th district.
And actually, you've been doing this for a number of years.
About 10 years, going on 11.
Yeah, that's a good long time. Yeah. And you probably by far have as many people in your beat meetings as all the rest of us do put together.
Actually, sometimes I got a lot more, you know, because of the parties that we throw for Christmas and this special day like National Night Out, you know, we do a good turnout because around this neighborhood there's a lot of Spanish people.
Yeah, now actually we're coming here near the end. The Fettings you just left, you had the commander here earlier, all kinds?
I had Commander Bruce Rodner. I had, I forget the deputy chief name that was here with Bob Dvorak. I had Sergeant Clark came over here. A couple of officers from my beat came over here. Officer Calderon came over, stopped over. You know, we had a good share of police officers. You know.
No, and even though this is the waning hours, you've got more than 100 people here right now.
Well, I'll tell you, it was full. The whole parking lot, it was very full. You know, we had the petting zoo. We had a large petting zoo this time, and we had alpacas, llamas. We had goats, sheep, ducks, chickens, chicks, rabbits. We had 2 ponies. We had, you know, it was very nice. You know.
Wow, that's terrific. You're making me hungry, actually.
We had a demonstration in the Martial Arts Dagobert Academy. We registered probably about 100 bikes, 125 bikes, you know.
Oh, that's terrific. So this is something that people can do, you know, they bring their bikes, they get something engraved or a number or whatever? Or?
No, actually, the bicycles in the bottom, they have a serial number.
Yeah.
And what we do, there's a form, you know, that we fill up for them, and half of it stays with you, and the other half we give it to the police officers. And then the police officers put that information in the computer. So in case your bicycle gets stolen, they go where my bike was stolen, but it was registered, and with their other side of that card, they will put it up as stolen, so they can stop this whoever's driving a gangbang or whatever, and they go, "Is that your bike?" Yes, it is. They pull out the number, the serial number. If it appears stolen, this guy gets arrested, you know. Wow. And the guy gets recovered because thousands of bikes, they don't, you know, nobody, they don't have this way to find the owner of the bike, you know. So this is a way to do it, you know.
No, that's terrific. I mean, you've really got some activity here.
Yeah, we did. Actually, we had more. I was expecting Cook County Sheriff for the fingerprinting for the kids. There was no show in the last minute. They told me that they weren't doing it. But you know, with the Dagobert Academy, they came over here. They put a nice show, you know. We had a child abduction thing, you know. It was very well in Spanish. It was good. And we had a lot of food given away, a lot of gifts. Kids, we had probably over 400 gifts for kids, and we actually ran out. We had 50 cases of pop that disappeared. It was a hot day, so, you know, and it makes me... sometimes, you know, I go through a lot of stress for, you know, because people cut in line and stuff, and at the end, seeing the faces of the kids and stuff, you know, it makes it worth it, you know, so that's nice.
That sounds great. This is really fantastic. If people want to join, now the 24th District is basically Peterson to the north end of the city, Howard or Juneway in that area, and it's all the way from Sheridan Road to Kedzie. If people want to join, who do they contact?
Well, actually, they can contact Neighborhood Relations in the 24th District, you know. Their phone number is 312-744-6321.
It's one of my favorite numbers to give on the show, 312-744-6321, Neighborhood Relations.
That's correct. They can contact Gloria Cropton. She's a Spanish person. She's Mexican. And we work together, and, you know, she's part of the Spanish beat team, you know.
No, and she's a terrific lady, and all the people at the station. That's a station over around 6500 just off Clark Street.
That's correct. Clark and they call it Clark and the Bar, but it's actually Clark and Shriver. And we have the whole beat, we do it in Spanish. I mean, you know, we got police officers in Spanish. The sergeant, Helen Zemek, she's a Spanish person, and it's terrific. I mean, you'd be surprised at all the things they come up with, you know, and I'm very, very glad to, actually, I'm the person that started the beat teams, the Spanish beats in the whole city, you know, 7 years ago with when Commander Thomas Burns was over at our 24th District.
One of my favorite commanders.
Yes, it is. Yes, I sure missed him myself, but he's out there looking for us too right now as we speak, you know. So, you know, it's nice to be part of all this because, you know, I have my family here, I have my business, my restaurant takes through, and actually this is like a headquarters because people come over here and if they got problems and stuff, you know, I've got a lot of literature from CAPS and stuff right here in my entrance, and it works like, you know, both ways. My restaurant is a headquarters for CAPS.
That's terrific. Well, I want to thank you very much, Cesar Escardo. You are the beat facilitator of the Hispanic beat of the 24th District.
That's correct.
And he's been on the CAPS board for 10, 11 years, and specifically 7 years with the Hispanic beat. We want to wish you all the luck in the world and in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sonny. All right.
I didn't know that was your restaurant.
Yes. Cool. I'm sorry. Would you like to keep telling you? I can't. People bring to the social meetings something. We're cooking for you.
I never did. I can't. I'm a fanatic that way. It's got to be done on an oven. It's never had. But I thank you. No, I know that people will do that. But no, I grew up the Swift way. I'll recommend that friends. Would you like to pop? No, I'm fine. Really, I was well fortified because we're going to be out there for about 10 o'clock. So, okay, I'm well fortified. Thank you. I'll recommend it to people. That'll be good. All right, sounds good.
The guys over here making noise. We're going to have to go on 911.
Enjoy. We got to see the dust pull up. Yeah. All right. Bobby Meyers here in Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine. It's the end of National Night Out. It's been a very successful night. The commander has been to all the districts throughout the area. Give us your overall estimation on what you saw tonight.
Well, I think that National Night Out is getting stronger every year. We've been doing this for quite a number of years. The 24th District is one of the few districts, really, where each beat has some different event going on. A lot of the districts will have one event in a park or by the police station, which is a great idea too, because it brings people together. Since we were a prototype district starting in Caps, people here have kind of begun to manage their own beats, or really have been managing their own beats for a long time.
And that was in large part due to your help as community relations sergeant.
Well, I think it was due to the help of our police officers and the people. I mean, the committed people. I mean, that's what we saw tonight. We saw a tremendous amount of committed people who are out here. It's hot outside, it's humid, but they're still out here serving ice cream, handing out flyers, talking about Caps, and, that's the real spirit of Caps.
No question. Tell us about the outdoor roll call. That was really something to see over on Winthrop.
Yeah, right. We actually did two tonight. We did one up at Howard and Ashland, and then we did one at Thorndale and Winthrop. And the idea of the outdoor roll call is just to show our support for the community. It's to send a message to those people who may not want to obey the law that we're here, we're not going away, we're here in a force, and it's very impressive. And you heard the applause from the people at Thorndale Winthrop when our police officers came out of the car.
Really amazing.
And it's like I always tell our police officers, the vast majority, 99% of people, like the police, they respect the police, they want the police in their communities. And I think that really reinforced the things I said.
No question about it. And I want to tell you, even though I've seen outdoor roll calls before, the support of the people really overwhelmed me. I mean, I was really very pleasantly surprised.
And I think intellectually we understand that as police officers, that people do like us. Sometimes because we deal with that very small segment of people who do break the law and do get in trouble. You can tend to have a cynical view of things. But, our young police officers, I think they really do appreciate that people do like them, that people do respect them. This isn't a country where people are fearful of the police or anything like that. And, we're as much part of the community as any institution here. And I think people really like that.
Well, speaking as a civilian, I can tell you that I think people's attitude toward the police since the beginning of community policing has really changed tremendously. And there was a time when the police were more objects and looked at as objects as opposed to real people. And now I think more people are thinking of them as real people with real feelings and somebody who's important in their lives in a very positive way.
Sure, and that's, it's becoming ingrained in our culture. There was a big cultural change, starting the beat meetings, having officers going to the beat meetings. But, now, and I know, really the mayor and the superintendent's, support and being behind this, have kept it going and going. And, I know in the 24th district, and I can't speak for all the other districts, but the 24th district, when I came back here as commander, I was just amazed at the continued level of community support for community policing here in the 24th district.
Which I think really we had a great start in the first place, and I think it's being carried on all the way right now.
Absolutely.
How do you find your first few months here as commander?
Challenging. I think, as I told you when I was on your show earlier, obviously I had an advantage being here for 19 of my 33 years, and I've come back, and obviously a lot of things have changed. People have changed. A lot of the demographics have changed, but a lot of the good people that were here when I was here are still here, and they're still working hard. Some of the old hands, that I worked with in the 24th district are still here, and it's nice seeing, familiarity. Because that helps me a great deal. And as I said, I worked for 7 great commanders. I learned something from each one of them. And so that's helped the transition a tremendous amount. I mean, I love what I do. I really do. I relish coming to work every day and every night or whenever I have to work because it's a demanding job. But like I say, the officers I have are all terrific and, very supportive of the things that we're trying to accomplish up here. So far, so good.
No, we appreciate it very much, and I want to thank very much our host in many ways tonight, the commander of the 24th District, Bruce Rotner. If you need the police, I guess 911 or 311 are the best ways to get them. Of course, if you do want to call Neighborhood Relations here and get together with community policing, that number is 312-744-6321. Thank you so much, Commander, for being here.
Thank you, Avi. I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Thank you. Could we grab Sergeant Clark just for 2 minutes? He's never been on camera.
No,
if you don't mind.
The water's fine.
Here, let me put the heat on
I
so you
figure
don't
this
get
is
the
our
glare.
excuse to get you without having to worry about anything else. I figure the boss is here, so... You ready, Sonny?
Yeah.
Okay, one of the people who's helped us so much over the last couple of years, I guess, in the 24th District doing various things with the police department is the Sergeant of Community Relations in the 24th District. That's Sergeant Bob Clark. Sergeant, how you doing?
I'm doing very good tonight. Thank you.
First of all, it's the first time our crowd gets to see you. We've seen a number of the officers that you've commanded, and you've helped us get many of the guests. Tell us, how is it like working in the 24th District?
Actually, it's quite enjoyable. I've been here approximately 22 years now in the district, and I've had positions primarily as a street sergeant. I was here with the inception of the CAPS program. I was a beat team leader on several of the beats when we started this program, and kind of progressed on from there. When former Commander Tom Byrne was here at the district, he called me and said to help coordinate and work in the office as far as the different functions of the CAPS program, because at the time it was expanding citywide. It was just becoming a little more involved than what the normal sergeants could handle, so I was coordinating a lot of that for me at the time.
And how do you find being a community policing sergeant as opposed to being a street sergeant?
It's a lot more challenging job because every time somebody's calling you, you are their last resource to help them, and they have serious problems. And reality is a lot of the problems that they have are not something that would normally be handled by the regular beat officer because they're a little more complex. They have issues with problems with their neighbors, parking problems in their communities, just a lot of things that are not normally handled by the regular beat officer, but they're referred to us by the beat officer because we're the resource that they would want to use for this.
And I know at the CAPS meetings, besides for having the community policing officers present, many of the people are referred to by not just the officers there, but by other citizens to the community policing office for many of those problems.
Right. I think our role's kind of grown with the inception of the CAPS program. Before, when it was called Neighborhood Relations, they did a lot of things in the community, but now we're coordinating the monthly beat meetings. We're also coordinating other events that are going on. Things that 10 years ago just weren't happening throughout the city. But now, because of what we're doing, we're trying to reach out to their communities a lot more, and especially bring them into, especially a neighborhood like Rogers Park where it's so diverse, to bring in all the different backgrounds and all the different ethnic groups into the CAPS program.
No question. We'll include West Rogers Park, too, because that's where Sonny and I are in the 2410 sector. But we want to thank you. Well, first of all, we want to thank you very much just for helping us so much for tonight on National Night Out, as well as our commander, Bruce Rotner, who actually he was serving in your position a few years ago.
Yes,
and we want to thank you for all the help, both Sonny, Hersh, my entire technical crew, and myself. I want to thank Sonny for running around with us all night, and we're actually on his block, on the 6200 block of Campbell, doing the filming tonight. We want to thank him and Marlene. We want to thank the commander. We want to thank you, Sergeant Clark, for helping us coordinate. He was sending us faxes and emails the last 2 days, making sure that we'd be at the right places in the right times, and we can't thank you enough. And we want to wish you good luck. We want to urge people to call the community policing office and make use of their facilities if you live in the 24th District. If you're calling from South Shore, they have their own office, please. But call 312-744-6321. The boundaries are basically, I think Thorndale is the furthest south boundary. It's usually Peterson. It goes all the way up to Howard, actually Juneway, Jonquil, in that area north of Howard. And it goes from the lake to Kedzie or the channel along that line. Sergeant Clark, thank you so much for being here. Thanks again to Sonny Hersh, and thank you again.
Good night. Thank you.
That's it. Everybody dismissed.